G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. This is game number 3 in the series between Wham01, who spawns on the north side of the map playing as the French in the color blue, and his opponent towards the south side of the map, the Mister, who spawns playing in as the Deli. Ladies and gentlemen, game number 3. As you can tell by the score at the top of the screen, the first 2 games have gone over to Wham, and this is starting to look grim right now for Mister. If there has ever been a time to lift, it is right now. Game number 3 in this series. If this is a loss for Mister, he's going to be on match point. Well, not him. Wham. Wham's going to be on match point. And that's going to mean that with Wham at match point, that Mister's going to have to win 4 in a row for him to do that. And that, I tell you what, that is a burden that no man should have to carry. Or woman, or Ambi. No one should have to carry a burden of being 3-0 down in a series with the only potential way to win by winning 4 games in a row. That would be tough. That would be very, very tough. So Mister definitely needs to pull it out this game. This is obviously a tough matchup as well. Deli, you know what? I say a tough matchup. That's the wrong word. This is a close matchup here. Deli versus the French. It could go either way. Personally, I prefer the French in this position. I genuinely think playing as the French, going for 2 town centers, it's pretty safe. I don't know why we don't see more people do it. I'm hoping Wham does that today because, honestly, I feel like if you just go 2 TC French into the Deli, there's not a lot that they can do. But there's a number of things that you need to do really importantly. You can't just go for like a naked French second TC. I think that it's important that you've got to sort of wean in a couple of the archers, and then you got to look for that TC. Like there's a nice little timing that you can find in there, but we'll have to watch and see how he plays it and whether he even goes for it. We've seen some people just ignoring it altogether. I remember watching a game from Beastie where he was playing in this matchup. I think the map was Dry Arabia, and he just waited for the enemy Deli player to hit Castle Age, and then he just pushed him and killed him. So maybe it could be something similar that comes out here for Wham. But the big thing for Mister, I mean, the ball is in his court. It's about surviving for him. So when we take a look at those hunts, you can see that he's got a hunt towards the front of his base, a hunt over towards this eastern side. He's got berries on the back side and then berries over on the back as well. So pretty decent little spawn for him. When it comes to Wham, Wham's going to be needing to deny these. It's going to be very key, making sure he focuses on taking out those Deli food sources. The other obvious key factor here is looking to neutralize those sacred sites. So this map is high view. 3 sacred sites are going to be spawning here across the center of the map. And it's going to mean that players, Deli players, typically are going to have an easy time taking their own sacred site, a very hard time taking the enemy sacred site. So look, they can guarantee 1 sacred site pretty safely. If they can manage to get a second one in the middle, they're going to be very happy. If they get all 3, well, the game's pretty much over at that point. So if Mister manages to get all 3 sites, well, I would suspect that you guys would probably be typing in the YouTube comments GG at that point, or at least thinking GG. But now we see the age up going to be coming through for Mister. It's going to be the Dome of the Faith that gets dropped down. Piety going to start being researched here now. Keep in mind, he has gone for an early mosque, which means that both Piety as well as efficient production going to be researched by the time he ages up. 5 villagers actually going to be tapping away at this landmark, so quite an early age up here he'll be looking for. Towards the base of Wham, though, we do see just a standard little opening here. It's going to be a wheelbarrow switch. So this is pretty standard. And normally what you would see here is that he's going to look to gather up 100 gold after that wheelbarrow, and that's going to be for your single night. And then he will be looking to move over towards that town center. Whether that's going to be the case or not remains to be seen. He could also look to gather up 200 for 2 nights. That's also a possibility, but realistically, 1 night's going to do all you need in this early stages of the game, just simply because the Deli player is probably going to be looking to drop down at barracks in the transition period. But we'll watch and wait and see how he plays it. He might be going for a double blacksmith opening as a potential option as well. So that could always be something to keep an eye out, but a very early age up coming through for Wham. 4 minutes and 7 seconds, so pretty decent there. Wheelbarrow coming through. We don't see any Royal Knight in queue just yet. Still got 4 villagers on gold, so probably going to be doing that double night opening at the very least. But Wheelbarrow almost through. Scout's still in decent position. You know he's going to be coming right down towards this gold mine. That's why he's keeping these scouts there. Ideally, you can see that there could be a knight that swings its way around the back here, but there's so many buildings here, it's highly unlikely he's going to be able to kill that. And keep in mind, in this matchup against the Deli going to be looking to research as soon as possible that textile upgrade. Takes 22 seconds. It's a little bit longer than what your standard villager is, but it almost guarantees that those villagers are going to be staying alive in these early fights. But now, We see that first knight is in queue. Going to be coming out across the map here. Not being shadowed at all. So Mr. is sitting in his base at the moment, chilling out for the moment. We'll take a look and see whether he's got textiles. No textiles in queue at the moment just yet. Click it, Mr. Click it, Mr. Click it, Mr. Click it, Mr. Please, Mr. Click it. Mr. with an idle town center now for about 7 seconds. 8 seconds. Mr. Wake up. He queues a villager instead of the textiles. He could have gotten a free textiles during that time. Keep in mind, other civs have to pay 150 resources for their textiles. Delhi get it for free. So huge advantage there to the Delhi. Do not forget your textiles. I don't even care if you're playing against China, double, triple, quadruple TC. Just get your textiles, fellas. It's an easy upgrade. Blacksmith coming down. Barracks already through here. No scholar sitting inside it just yet, but a scholar is going to be coming out of the Dome of the Faith. It's rallying towards this barracks as well. So he's going to be heading out over towards this position. We start to see a Royal Knight is already moving around this south side. He'll be looking to hit on that south side. Spearman going to be coming out. Second Spearman going to be coming in. He's going to be able to head towards that wood line. One of the villagers probably going to be going down. He manages to keep it alive with 2 health, making it back towards that town center. Blacksmith does come out. Mr. staying alive for the moment. Things looking good for him. Towards the north side, a second knight going to be coming out, and Stone now getting taken up towards Wham's base. Still heavily on gold. He's got 3 villagers out on this gold mine. So despite going for what appears to be a second town center, he is going to be heavily on that stone. So a lot of, is still heavily on that gold rather, but a lot of harassment early on in this stage of the game. Looks like no archery rangers coming down for Wham at this point in time, so not even going to be going for an archer or 2, just playing it very cool, very calm, very collected, and we'll be dropping down that second town center. The question is where he goes. It looks like it's going to just be right next to his town center, or his initial starting town center. But we'll watch to wait and see where he places it. Other alternative down on this hunt a little bit further. Archery range going to be coming down for him. So making the right decision. You can see it's coming down in about 7 minutes. This town center, where is this? Oh my god, what is this town center? Town center coming down on the sacred site. What are these guys doing? Look at this forward town center coming out from Wham. You want to take the sacred site? Well, get through my town center, mate. He's using the town center as a pseudo outpost, pseudo barbican, and just an absolute... I mean, this is next level stuff, right? Because one of the other things to remember is if the Delhi player spots this and he's like, oh, well, I've queued up all 4 of my main techs and I'm also going to need to get siege engineering. He's immediately spotted it. You can see it's about halfway. I wouldn't be surprised if he cancels all of these and starts queuing up siege engineering as a result of this. Second Blacksmith is definitely going to be a big help for him in this early stage of the game. He just ignores it, though. He's like, you know what? You go for it, girlfriend. I'm going to let you go. You do it. I'm just going to overrun you. Fair enough. Let's see how effective he can be. Blacksmith still just researching. Those techs we see a stable coming down as well as a barracks. So it's going to be the melee composition that we typically see. This is a composition that I really love. I think this is a great composition up against the French. So what's the idea? How does it work? Spearmen, these guys, they're trying to stab. They're trying to get their stabby stabs onto those knights. That's going to be a key factor. So in those micro wars that come out, the spearmen really need to make sure that they are attacking onto those royal knights, and by the same token, the horsemen that are going to be coming out of this stable, they've got to be making sure that they're attacking the ranged archers. Was that archer attacking the deers? I swear they were. Maybe I was going a little bit crazy there. But now a barracks coming down for Wham, and this is what makes it all so damn hard. When you try and do this is something I often do on China. I'm doing the full melee combo, and then the French player throws in a barracks. And this is where it's just like, well, I can't deal with that. I can't make a barracks. What? No, the reality is that it's harder to play against the French 1-1-1 because they've got the Knights. And basically the Knights, they're a unit that beats everything, okay? They've got no bonus against anybody, so they don't... In the counter system, you know, you've got rock, paper, scissors. Well, the French Knight, that's dynamite, baby. And the only way you can counter dynamite is with a guy like this, the hardened spearman. So once he gets nice and hard and starts stabbing around, he's going to be able to effectively counter... Very, very curious sacred site capture, by the way. He's going to be able to effectively counter that Royal Knight. But when spearmen start getting in the mix, when you start attacking those spearmen with your own spearmen, then problems start to occur. Because now all of a sudden you're not able to take it out. And speaking of problems... Oh, he gets him in the back. Now going to be able to turn around here. Needs to try and take out that Scholar. Scholar managing to do some nice little micro moves and makes his way back towards that sacred site. So first sacred site going to be coming through. Wham did try his best to contest it. Unfortunately, held it off for about a minute before it finally did eventually go over towards the Mister. And Mr. going to be defending out of the pocket here. We can see that he's got the heavy melee composition here. He's yet to scout out the spearmen. And that's the big factor here, because if he looks to try and take any fight in the center and those spearmen pop out of the town center, those spearmen come out of the stealth forest, it's all over Red Rover, because the spearmen don't get countered by any of the units that Mr. has got. Mr.'s got very heavy counter units. 8 damage with 20 against cavalry. So 28 damage against cavalry, but 8 against everything else. And then by the same token, horsemen, which are 9 damage against everything, and then 18 damage against archers. So they're very specialized. And that's the key difference, because when it comes to these micro battles, it's very easy to control your knights, because you just aim move them. They're just like Protoss. French really are the Protoss of Age of Empires 4. You make knights, you make archers, you aim move, and you look away. That's the way it works, and you just win. You stampede over your opponent. Now, obviously, it's not that easy. I wish it was. But Mr. going to be thinking about going for an Age 3 play here. So he's already secured up that first sacred site. That's going to be able to start moving that gold number up. We can see it going up. He's sitting at about 1,000 food at the moment as well. Villager count for Wham rising. He's on 50 villagers at the moment. Double knight moving forward. Compare that over to the 33 of Mr. and the 17 villager difference between these guys starts to become a little bit more concerning. The longer this game goes on, the more scaling that continues to happen with that second town center. But now towards that eastern side of the map, Wham going to be looking to raid over here. Manages to cause those 5 villagers a little bit of idle time. Takes out the mill that was under construction, and just like that, the horsemen managed to make their way into the dusk. And slowly but steadily, things looking worse for wear for Mr. Now, keep in mind, he's down in this series 2-0. If he loses this game, it goes to 3-0, and with that match point. And that is a difficult position to play from. So Mr. got to do everything he can to try and stay ahead in this game. Now with this, he's still yet to scout out the spearmen of his enemy. And look at the numbers for Wham. He's on 9 spearmen. You might not think this is a lot. This is a huge amount of spearmen, because there's no way for his enemy to deal with this. That's a big factor. Now, obviously, an archery range comes out very quickly. He's going to be able to do the magic, and I would expect after seeing those spearmen out, he would start thinking about dropping an archery range in the base. Age up is coming through. It's going to be the House of Learning. Second sacred site was getting captured up. I don't know exactly where it was. It's going to be over on the east corner. And he might actually get this one up. There's not only units over here to stop this. A little bit of... there's a few villagers over here. In fact, you could just get a villager over here for now. But they would probably die to the horsemen. I think it takes 30 seconds for this sacred site to get up. So he might be able to take out this sacred site and then move off. But you can see the units coming out. The scholar just got to fall back. He says, you know what? I'll let you keep it. Don't worry. I'm not going to go for it. Spearman moving forward. And this is the problem right now for Mr. is that if Wham decides to commit Feudal here, he might die. Mr. might die. Because Wham's Feudal is so strong. He can go 1-1-1, and honestly, there's nothing that Mr. can do. Because if he goes knights, that's fine. Wham is just going to keep making knights. He's going to take trades, and then he's going to heal up with his chivalry. If he makes men-at-arms, well, guess what? There's already knights out on the field. They counter it effectively. Doesn't need crossbows. That's fine. And some very curious walls here. Why not one wall there and then one wall here? Instead, walls the entire thing off like that. You could have just walled right there. Big walls, big balls, big Wham, big trading. Sorry, I didn't need to say that. But yeah, now it definitely looks like a bit of a feudal committal. He is going to be starting to think a bit more about aging up now. Wham doing a little bit of raiding on this south side. Scholar going to get caught out of position. This guy was over in that eastern corner, remember? And now going to be forced to fall his way back. Horseman. We'll take a look and see what kind of upgrades we've got coming through. What is Mr. up to right now? Mr. once again going to be stacking up a few resources. No units at all in queue. We'll check his production and see what he's up to. 2 stables, 2 barracks, and an archery range. That's going to be it for him. So 5 military production buildings and a tower elephant going to be coming out. So an effective unit against those trash compositions as long as it's got support. And that's going to be the key factor here is support. So we'll watch to see how he plays it now. Going to be on the defensive, though, I do suspect. Still only 1 sacred site. That second sacred site in the middle, not yet captured. Oh, it was relics that he was going for. He was going down for that relic on the south side, but was interrupted. And now we can actually see there was a mill down there. I'm not sure how many villagers were lost. I apologize if I missed that. 40 villagers for Mr. 72 for Wham. Things continuing to look good for Wham. He's going to be looking at age up now as well. It's going to be the Royal Institute. Royal Institute coming down. This is a landmark I love to see, especially in these games where we go for double TCs. We'll quickly check and see how many military units we've got out. We've got 8 Royal Knights. So at this point, honestly, you could even go into 2 or 3 more stables off this and then look to go for a very heavy knight focus with that key technology. It's going to be the Royal Institute's Royal Bloodlines. It's going to be very key, but we do hear a relic being captured up towards the north. He's had a tough time trying to collect these relics, but more knights down towards the south. Bit of a raid over towards the east. Houses coming up for him. Royal Institute is in. Wham got to be thinking about next steps, next moves. Walls coming up across this map and more raids. Not more raids, rather more attacks. And Wham just all over Mr. right now. Going to be able to deny out that second sacred site in the middle. And that's a really big factor. You got to keep in mind this sacred site in the middle is being guarded by this... Get off my screen. It is being guarded up by this town center, and that just really creates all the difference. And now down towards the south, more knights. He's just all over him at this point, just giving him the absolute runaround. Wham is just looking like he's in a different league today. And this is not looking pretty for Mister. Cleaning up the raids, cleaning up everything at home. Mister at the moment just sitting in his base chilling. He's got no relics. All the relics have been cleaned up. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4 relics. There was a 5th one. It's up towards the north. He's not getting that home anytime soon. Another raid now coming in on the south. And this is the problem, right? Like, he's just been torn apart slowly but steadily. Every little bit, he's been torn apart by the French player. And Wham's just done such a great job. You know, when it comes to the best defense, well, that's a good offense. That is your best defense. And Wham's offense has been impressive today. And good game gets called just like that. Wham is going to be going to 3-0 in this series. Mister losing again. Match point is going to be the next game up here. This could be a 4-game series. It could be a clean sweep coming out from Wham. And I got to say, he's looking on absolute fire today, guys. Do not go anywhere. Game number 4 in this series is going to be coming up. It could be the final game.